Welcome back. My name is Jeremy Garcia, and again, this is Wages of Cine's 30 Days of Horror, which you know already. Let's get to it. For my second review, I chose to review Jug Face. Yes, that is the name of the film, and yes, it is on Netflix. Go watch it. So, Jug Face. What is Jug Face about, Jeremy? Don't worry, I'll tell you. So apparently there's this backwoods community that is, out of the limelight of society. And they basically worship a pit, a hole in the ground with some mud and water in it. And with the pit, through the pit chooses a seer. And this seer ends up going into kind of a, kind of blacks out a little bit, and it ends up fashioning a jug. Now he carves a face on it, and he puts it in a little fire thing and makes it, and it comes out, and whoever's face it is basically has to be sacrificed to the pit. Now with the sacrifices to the pit, apparently the pit you can go then ask the pit to heal you if you're sick or whatever, and the pit'll take care of you. Basically that's the premise, or that's the backstory. The premise of the film is that our main actress here discovers that her face is next. Her face is the one that is the next Jug Face, and she ends up hiding it. And the film is about the repercussions of that action, of what happens when the pit does not get what it wants. So, to start, I was intrigued with the synopsis, because I was like, and the title of the film, I mean, you're gonna pull some attention when you name your film Jug Face. Good or bad, I guess. But it's interesting. It's an interesting concept. I like it's very much an indie film, a low budget, but it's done very well. I like the concept. I like it's something it's not something normal. It's not something we've seen 100 times before. So I like that aspect of it, and I did find it interesting. I think I think the actors do a pretty good job, especially the guy who plays Dwight. I don't know his name right now, but he plays the seer who makes the jug faces, and he's according to the people in the film, I guess he's a little mentally challenged, and whether that's a side effect of having been chosen by the pit to channel those jug faces or not, we don't know, but he does it. He's the best part of the film. His actions and reactions to the characters around him, and how he chooses to deal with the pit, and it's interesting how he is afraid. You get the feeling that he's afraid of his actions of having to choose. He's afraid of the pit. Maybe he's the person who's most afraid of it, but yet he's also the first person we see to defy the pit, to kind of, even though we see her as our main actress do it, we think that she's the first, but it turns out he's actually the first, which is not a huge plot point, or spoiler. But I'm gonna try and do my best not to spoil this film for you guys. But I would give it a watch. I enjoyed it. If you like those kind of off the wall, a little bit, out of the norm horror films, I think they do a really good job. One of my favorite things about these films is, and especially in that indie film scene when they're doing horror, is they normally go all out and do those practical horror effects, and they do a really good job with those. Especially there's one towards the end. There's a practical effect towards the end that really makes you pull back from, because it gets you in it, but it's good in a good way. They do a really good job with that. One gripe I have with the film, when I first read the synopsis, the first thing that pulled me to this was it says a monster in a pit, and my attention got, because I love monster B movies. I love that stuff. So I was like, what? A monster? What? Oh, I'm intrigued. And we see a lot of things from the first person perspective, as if there is an entity coming out of the pit to get somebody, but we never see anything other than that. It's basically first person attacking, and then somebody else comes along and sees the carnage of sees the carnage of, you know, organs and entrails and stuff like that. Another gripe I have is that the pit itself, I was hoping for a little more, I can honestly go both ways. I was hoping for a little more pageantry with how the pit looked. It turned out, I guess, it looked like they had 3 PAs dig a hole and fill it with water, or fill part of it with water. That's kind of what it felt like. I wanted a little more pageant, especially if it's something they worship. I was hoping that it was something a little fancier. I mean, they are a backwoods community, so I'm not, you know, I don't want a gold pit or anything like that. I just wanted something a little more neat, maybe, and something that gave me the feeling, maybe even something that felt like it couldn't have been man-made, or it couldn't have been created by just one person. This looked like somebody digging a hole went outside and for 3 hours dug a hole, and that was it. That's their pit. So I wanted something a little better, but I understand if there was budget limitations and things like that. But overall, I enjoyed this film. I had fun watching it. There are some messed up parts in it, just so be forewarned. I'm gonna try not to spoil. I won't spoil anything for you guys, but there are some scenes where you might think, didn't really want to see that. But overall, I enjoyed this film. I think they did a good job with it. I encourage you, it is on Netflix, to go watch it if you're into the kind of horror film, and into horror films or something different. This does bring something new to the table, I feel. And I had fun watching it. So go check it out, Jug Face on Netflix. And be sure to subscribe to Wages of Cine down here. Any of that stuff, it's cool. So check these guys out. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you saw it. I'd love to hear your opinion. All right? So until next time, guys, this is Wages of Cine's 30 Days of Horror. And I will see you at the next review.